Hello students. Now we'll be starting with Unit 4, which is Security Requirements. In this video, we'll be studying about a secure socket layer, which is also called as SSL. So let us understand the location of this secure socket layer in the TCP/IP protocol suite. So SSL can also be called as TLS, that is Transport Layer Security. And the position of this SSL layer is below the application layer. It is a completely optional service, and whoever requires the security, they can opt for this SSL service. Otherwise, your normal application layer protocols are working as it is. So transport layer security, it basically provides end-to-end security services for the applications that use reliable transport layer protocol, such as TCP. And the idea is to provide the security services for transactions on internet. So for example, when a customer shops online, so the security services which are required for the online shopping is the customer need to be sure that the server belongs to the actual vendor and it is not the server of some imposter, and the customer does not want to give an imposter her credit card number. So here the requirement is entity authentication. Then the customer and the vendor need to be sure that the content of the message are not modified during the transmission. So message integrity is the very important service. Then the customer and the vendor need to be sure that an imposter does not intercept sensitive information such as the credit card number. So confidentiality is required. So the two most important protocols which are used nowadays for providing the security at the transport layer are the secure socket layer, which is SSL protocol, and the transport layer security, that is TLS protocol. And the latter one, that is TLS, is actually a IETF version of the SSL. So one of the most important goal of this protocol SSL is to provide server and client authentication, data confidentiality, and data integrity. The application layer client server program such as Hypertext Transfer Protocol, HTTP, that use the services of TCP, it can encapsulate their data in SSL packet. So if the server and client are capable of running SSL or TLS program, then the client can use the URL HTTPS instead of HTTP. So it will allow the HTTP messages to be encapsulated in SSL or TSL packet. So for example, the credit card information, credit card number is the most crucial information in online shopping. So it can be safely transferred via the internet for online shopping by using SSL. So let us understand architecture of SSL. SSL is designed to provide the security and compression services to the data which is generated from application layer. So typically SSL can receive the data from any application layer protocol, but usually the protocol is HTTP. And the data which is received from application is compressed, whereas this compression is an optional service. Then it is signed and encrypted. And then the data is passed to the reliable transport layer protocol such as TCP. And next is the different services which are provided by secure socket layer are. So basically SSL provides several services on the data which is received from application layer. So the first one is fragmentation. So first SSL divides the data into the block of 2^14 bytes or less than that. Then each fragment of data is compressed by using one of the lossless compression methods which is negotiated between the client and the server, whereas this compression is completely a optional service. Then comes message integrity. So message integrity is used to preserve the integrity of the data, and SSL uses the keyed hash function to create a MAC. So it is a message authentication code. Then confidentiality service is provided by SSL. To provide this confidentiality, the original data and the message authentication code, that is MAC, they are encrypted by using a symmetric key cryptography. And the last service which is provided by SSL is framing, in which a header is added to the encrypted payload, and the payload is then passed to the reliable transport layer protocol. So as we have seen that SSL is providing the services like message authentication, data integrity, and confidentiality. To provide these services and to exchange the authenticated and confidential messages, the client and the server needs 6 cryptographic secrets. So 4 keys and 2 initialization vectors are required. However, to create this secret, one pre-master secret must be established between the two parties. So SSL defines 6 key exchange methods to establish this pre-master secret. And the different key exchange methods used by SSL are null, RSA, anonymous Diffie-Hellman, ephemeral Diffie-Hellman, fixed Diffie-Hellman, and partisan. So null means there is no key exchange in this method and no pre-master secret is established between the client and server. So both the client and server need to know the value of pre-master secret beforehand, before starting the communication. Then comes RSA, where in this method the pre-master secret is 48 byte random number, and it is created by the client and encrypted with the server's RSA public key and send it to the server, and then after receiving, server can decrypt it by using his own private key and can use it. Then the anonymous Diffie-Hellman is the simplest and the most insecure method, whereas in this the pre-master secret is established between the client and the server by using your normal Diffie-Hellman protocol. And Diffie-Hellman half keys are sent in the plain text, which is called anonymous Diffie-Hellman, because none of the party is known to other. So as we have already discussed about the Diffie-Hellman protocol, and most serious disadvantage of this Diffie-Hellman protocol is the man in the middle attack, which is possible in the anonymous Diffie-Hellman. Then the another method is the ephemeral Diffie-Hellman. Whereas to overcome the man in the middle attack, the ephemeral Diffie-Hellman key exchange protocol can be used. In this, each party sends a Diffie-Hellman key signed by its private key. So the receiving party need to verify the signature by using the public key of the sender. And the public key of verification are exchanged using either RSA or DSS digital signature certificates. So here in case of ephemeral Diffie-Hellman, as the messages are signed by the sender and they are verified by the receiver, it is not possible for the intruder to attempt the man in the middle attack. Then comes the fixed Diffie-Hellman. The another solution is the fixed Diffie-Hellman method, and all entities in the group can be prepare fixed Diffie-Hellman parameter, which is G and P, where generator and P is a large prime number. Then each entity can create a fixed Diffie-Hellman half key, that is G raised to X. And for additional security, each individual half key is inserted into a certificate, which is verified by certification authority. So in other words, we can say that the two parties do not directly exchange the half keys in fixed Diffie-Hellman, whereas the certification authority sends the half key in RSA or DSS special certificates. And when the client need to calculate pre-master secret, it uses its own fixed half key and the server half key, which is received in the certificate. And the server does the same, but in the reverse order. So here in the fixed Diffie-Hellman, no key exchange messages are passed and only the certificates are exchanged. The last one is Fortizza, and it is this FORTISA is actually it is a registered trademark of US National Security Agency NSA, and it is a family of security protocol which is developed for Defense Department. So we are not going to discuss here about FORTISA. Then next is the encryption and decryption algorithms. So there are several choices for encryption decryption algorithm, and we can divide the algorithms into 6 groups. So all these encryption decryption algorithm uses the 8-byte initialization vector, except FORTISA, which uses 20 bytes of initialization vector. So the different encryption decryption algorithms used by SSL can be a null, stream RC4, block RC2, block DES, block IDEA, and block FORTISA. So in case of null, it means the category simply defines that there is no encryption decryption algorithm used. Whereas in the stream RC4 it's a stream cipher, and 2 RC algorithms are defined in stream mode, that is RC440, that is 40-bit key is used, and RC4 128, whereas 128-bit key is used. Then block RC, one RC algorithm is defined in block mode, whereas RC2 along with the cipher block chaining mode with the 40 bits of key is used. Then we have a DES algorithm, which is a block DES algorithm, and it is defined in the block mode, it is DES40 along with the cipher block chaining mode, which uses 40 bit of key. And standard DES is defined as DES, CBC, triple DES, EDE, and CBC, which uses 168 bit of key. Then comes IDEA. IDEA is also a block cipher which is defined in the block mode, CBC, and which uses 128 bit of key. And the last one is block FORTISA. Then next is the hash algorithms used in SSL. So as we have seen, SSL also provides you the message integrity. To provide that, it uses the hash algorithm. So 3 hash functions are defined here in SSL are null, MD5, and SHA-1. So null means the 2 parties may decline to use any hash algorithm. In this case, there is no hash function and the message is not authenticated. And in case of MD5, the 2 parties may choose MD5 as the hash algorithm, and in this case 128-bit MD5 message digest is generated. Whereas in SHA-1, the 2 parties select SHA as the hash algorithm, and in this case 160-bit SHA-1 hash algorithm is used. Then the next important concept here which you need to understand is cipher suit. So as we have studied that SSL is providing entity authentication, integrity, confidentiality. So in that case, it has to use different encryption decryption algorithm, hash algorithms, and for that it key. And both the parties to use the same key. For example, when sender is using DES algorithm, the receiver has to use DES along with the same key. Then only it is possible to decrypt the message successfully. So, which algorithm is to be used? It is to be decided beforehand, before starting the communication. And the set of algorithms which are negotiated between the client and server is called as cipher suit. The cipher suit has to be negotiated between both the parties before starting the communication. So the combination of key exchange algorithm, hash algorithm, and encryption algorithm defines the cipher suit for each SSL session. So here the suit is we have we have not included all the algorithms. For example, if you can see here, we have example of SSL along is using RSA with DES and SHA. So each suit starts with the term SSL, which is followed by the key exchange algorithm. So here the example states that RSA is the key exchange algorithm which is used. Then the word with is used to separate the key exchange algorithm from the encryption and the hash algorithm. So here with the DES is an encryption algorithm and SHA is a hash algorithm to be used. So this is the cipher suit which is negotiated between 2 communicating parties for a particular SSL session, where RSA is a key exchange algorithm, DES is an encryption decryption algorithm, and SHA is a hash algorithm. And next is the compression algorithms used in SSL. So as we have seen before that the compression is an optional service provided by SSL in SSL version 3. So no specific compression algorithm is defined for SSL version 3. Therefore, the default compression algorithm is null. However, the system can use whatever compression algorithm is desired.